All right, hello and welcome back to Tantrums and Tangents, the talk show. Today, we're going to be talking about ancient gods and beings in fiction. So yeah, this includes everything from like the Elder Scrolls Daedric Lords to Cthulhu and all other things in between.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan. Hey, C. Wayne, how's it going? Good to see you.
All over that chat, C. Wayne.
You have full reign. That's the most exciting part.
So
yeah, you've been on a Lovecraft binge recently? Nice. And I think maybe I'll start off with like, that's one of my favorite things about like any sort of like ancient being or god in any sort of fiction. There's this sense of we need the power from this thing and the delicate balance of I don't want to piss it off.
yes, that is accurate.
And I think that is one of my favorite things because in every game I play, I'm always like, let's sell my soul to every Daedric Lord in any Elder Scrolls game. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if this actually had repercussions, like it would be terrifying because essentially you'd have like 13 ancient beings trying to rip apart your soul.
Oh, that'd be awful. I just had like that moment where there's that I don't remember exactly what the origin is, but there's like some story about how like two kids are like fighting over a bike and like the like some adult comes around and is like, well, what's the matter here? Why can't you guys share? It's like, well, no, it's mine, and no, it's mine, and like so they end up cutting the bike in half, but it's your soul,
Right? But it's
like,
your soul, exactly.
Slicing bits off.
Freaking out. But no, seriously, like you don't want to mess with these like ancient beings and demons and whatever because like sure they can grant you favors, but they are vastly more powerful than you are. And it's that delicate balance of like I need to borrow some of your strength to help me in battle. Cool. The power's granted. Now let's try to get away from this unscathed after everything's over, and that's the more challenging part.
Yeah.
But yeah, you bring up an interesting point though, C. Wayne. Yeah, like there a lot of different kinds of these ancient beings or gods, and they're sort of like the Greek and Romans gods that they had their flaws, almost like humans, as opposed to the ones that seem a little bit more alien. Which include things like Daedric Lords and Cthulhu and stuff like that.
Right.
Where they're sort of separate from man because they never were considered to be close to that.
Right. Are there games like that? I don't think that there's a
I mean,
I don't think that there's a like a computer or console role-playing game where that's strictly speaking true.
There is God of War, the series God of War. And I feel like that it probably comes the closest just based on the whole, like, you're basically defeating the gods and titans and stuff like that because they did you wrong. And they can do wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree to that. That sounds true. Yes.
Like, you beat the shit out of Hercules, and Hercules does not seem like the, like, big hero in that game. Like, he seems like a total fucking douchebag.
Well, it's because Hercules had to be a total fucking douchebag. Like, are you kidding me?
He's
the jock of ancient Greece. If like, if like, all of Greece was a high school, Herc's the quarterback.
Right.
Like a douchebag.
Oh gosh.
Unfortunately, that makes Zeus like either his dad or coach.
He's like the cool dad.
Yeah.
But like the really creepy cool dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like he
businessman.
wears the hat to the side and actually goes to his son's parties, but pretends he's in the
Oh,
school. Oh, that kind of creepy cool dad.
yep, that's the kind of dad that Zeus would be. Except it would be like a swan that he's wearing on his head.
Like, yeah, what up, my fellow children? Fucking, oh gosh.
Oh, greetings, mortals! Isn't it great to be mortals on this day?
And then he like just turns the swan ever so slightly on his head. Oh my gosh. Fucking. And Herc's like, Dad, come on, what the hell? This is my party.
Oh, whatever, Herc, lighten up.
Oh shit.
So good.
Oh fucking A.
All right. So since we're on the topic, I have to ask, who is your favorite Greek and or Roman god?
Let me see here. I'm a fan of Hephaestus, the smithing god.
Yeah.
I think that's his
That's
right
fair.
name, right?
Yes. Yeah, if we're talking Greek gods, I think it's Hephaestus.
Okay, cool. But yeah, he's my favorite because he makes all the cool shit basically.
Yeah, Greek god. Got it.
Yeah, and he's actually one of the few like gods, and actually this is a real world example, and slightly fiction. It's been fictionized in a few different things, but like it's one of the few examples of a god who's actually been like crippled or maimed.
Yeah.
Which usually you don't see because the whole point of being an ancient god or ancient being is that you're all powerful and can't be hurt. And he's like one of the few examples of that actually happening, which is kind of an interesting thing of being like, wow, gods can be, they can be hurt. It almost makes them like more relatable.
Right. Um, I can't remember if he's actually part of the pantheon, but there's a god in Dungeons and Dragons. At least, again, I think he's a god, named Vecna. Vecna is like the god of liches.
That's awesome. Hey, Dirge, how's it going? Good to see you.
But yeah, like, there's two magic items that are commonly sort of accepted as being canon within D&D that are that are part of Vecna's like cult.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is the Hand of Vecna. And it's literally this lich's hand. Like, it's the remains that he once had. So you cut off your hand, and you put the lich's hand on, and you become, like, part lich.
Wow, that's badass.
Yeah. The other one that you have is, like, the Eye of Vecna, and you, like, stab out your eye, and you plug up the bleeding hole with Vecna's eye. And like you get crazy like god vision powers. I don't remember the exact specifics. If somebody else knows, please enlighten me. But I do have a hilarious story about a group of my college adventurers. So when I was in college, before I'd actually like joined up with the D&D players there, the GM who I eventually played with, named Lee Lexa, showed up and was like, I got this cool fucking magic item in this dungeon and I hope you guys find it. And they searched around, they were really stoked to find it, they found it, and Lee called it the Head of Vecna. All you had to do in order to get it was cut off your own head, and then you could put Vecna's on and you would become basically an avatar of Vecna. This was a lie.
Whoa. Did someone fail like a lore check, or like how does that happen?
Yeah. Like the dungeon had like this whole like Head of Vecna thing going on and had like a whole bunch of stuff in it. Numerous chances to succeed at a knowledge check. No one bothered to make one.
Oh shit, that's the worst.
No one bothered to ask the GM whether or not they could really cut off their own head and basically become an avatar of Vecna. So, 3 party members later, They figured it out, and someone finally made a knowledge check and found out that it was bullshit.
Wait. Are you saying that 3 people beheaded? Oh my gosh!
They thought that they just had to do it faster.
Oh.
Someone finally was like, wait, oh, maybe there's some trick we're missing. Let me knowledge arcana to see if there's like a special trick to like putting the head of Vecna on. They succeeded at their knowledge check, and Lee was like giggling with laughter, told them there is no head of Vecna. And they were so confused and then so angry.
That is hilarious.
Yup.
Fucking A.
Seriously, it's one of the single most incredible traps that I've ever seen somebody use in a dungeon.
And I mean, it's actually funny you mention that, because there are a lot of times in video games and in fiction where, like, artifacts or, like, promises of ancient beings are totally traps.
Right?
Right.
Damn straight. No, they were pissed at him for like 15 minutes, especially the ones who died. Because he didn't stop them. Because he didn't just go, maybe someone should make an arcana check before somebody actually cut their head off. He was just willing to let them do it. That's why they were upset.
I think probably the best thing in that situation would have been to repeat the exact same thing that a player presented, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to cut my head off, and I'm going to put the head of Vecna on it. You're going to cut off your head, and you're going to put the head of Vecna. Okay, roll.
right. Saying it like that makes the player think one more time, like, wait. I'm going to put a desiccated head on my stump after I'm dead. Wait a second. That would help out immensely.
But it was so good.
Friggin' A.
Oh.
But yeah, like one example I have of a similar sort of trap is the Umbra sword from the Elder Scrolls is very much like that, because basically what happens is you get possession of the sword, and essentially it never happens to the player character, but you see these dudes who basically, like, they lose all sense of identity and they become Umbra, the wielder of Umbra, and like the only thing they crave is souls of those they've defeated in battle, which is really what the sword's doing, but they think they're doing it.
Right. So like the sword like mind wipes them, or like mind controls them into like basically becoming the sword?
Kind of, yeah. I'd call it a dark influence rather than a mind wipe, but yeah, basically like it's almost cursed in a way that like the only thing they want to do is just defeat people in combat, because the souls, like soul trapping and soul feeding, is what the sword's all about.
Gotcha. Hey MCT.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And it's funny because the
sword,
yeah,
like it like corruptions them into like doing exactly what the sword wants.
Okay. Right.
Cool.
yeah. No. It's really cool how there are times when you definitely get trapped, like via items from ancient beings like that. Now, I don't know the history beyond Oblivion or Morrowind. So like I'm not sure if it came from a Daedric Lord, but it sounds like something a Daedric Lord would do.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like that.
I know Clavicus Vile wants it as a reward in Oblivion, but I don't think he made it.
Okay.
Actually, no, I remember something he said, and he said he had unfinished business with Umbra. As in, like, the original Umbra.
Okay, gotcha.
That was still in the sword somehow. Which is pretty cool.
Cool. That's neat.
But I mean, yeah. Oh, what were you saying?
Do you like see what he does with it?
No, he just takes it out of your inventory, and then he replaces it with the Helm of Clavicus Vile. But he's like, I'd say in the Elder Scrolls, Clavicus Vile is definitely one of these sorts of. He's actually the Daedric Lord of deals with mortals. Like, he's the one, like, if you're gonna get tricked, he's the guy.
Right.
So.
There you go.
Yeah, he's basically like the bad genie.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Guy's a jerk.
Yeah. And actually that is another one of my favorite things about like ancient gods and beings in fiction is like
Yeah.
wording is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Because to them, like, they will take the easiest way out to preserve their own power, even if that means like almost going against the true intention of whatever it is.
Right, of course. Well, and I mean, come on, man. Like, you gotta admit, there's at least one thing that you can like relate to with regard to like being an immortal god. It's fucking boring.
Oh no, yeah. Like have you ever had like a situation where you're role playing something like that? Like role playing something that's like, centuries old is like one of these things where you have to be jaded, and like finding entertainment is actually really tough to do.
Oh. Yeah, like I've been alive for 2 millennia. Humans are a source of entertainment in so much as I can fuck with them.
Right. And there's a lot of those. Yeah, and there's a lot of those types of like ancient beings, definitely. And hey, Bakor, how's it going? We're talking about ancient gods and beings of fiction. So, like gods and Daedra of the Elder Scrolls, Cthulhu, all that sort of stuff.
Right. We've also talked about like Greek gods, so I'm gonna go ahead and guess that like dead ancient religions are also on the table.
I suppose so, yeah.
I mean, in so much as we think of them as mythology anyway.
And they've been also included in fiction. That sort of
that
thing.
Also, fair.
Right. I'm a being of fiction.
That's almost true.
I mean, it's true. Like, you guys don't know my real name. I control everything you see before you. Which is,
Yes.
whatever you're viewing this on. But, know.
I mean, in so much as you're still a pawn of the game that you're playing.
Right. Oh my, let's not get a head rush here.
I was about to say, let's not get into that ridiculousness.
Nope.
What's her name?
Exactly, Sue. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I like the whole like, because paladins work well with certain deities, but only to the extent that they're doing their will. Like that's how they get their power. And we talked about this when we talked about paladins, but like there are times when paladins don't do what their beings, describe as being good, and then they're just completely stripped of power and or cursed.
Yeah, that's true. Like, yeah, like it's a poor choice to.
Oh no, totally. Yeah.
Fuck around with gods generally.
Yeah, actually,
it doesn't turn out well for like anybody.
No. I think there's a few times in I know I keep bringing up the Elder Scrolls series, but I'm incredibly familiar with all that sort of lore. Right, Bakora. Yeah. Mafala's like the mystery, like Daedric goddess. Yeah, nobody ever has been her plane. Yeah, true that. There was a mod that allowed you to sort of peek into it in Morrowind, which was pretty cool. But no, there's times where like I kind of want to know what happened to your character like after you stop playing them in certain games, because like there are times when you actually get the opportunity to screw someone over. Like in Oblivion, you can do the Clavicus Vile quest and like screw him out of getting Umbra, and like the time when you get Umbra and never go back to collect the reward. There are a few other things I can't remember one specifically, but there are a few other times that you can screw over like ancient beings like that, And like, I kind of want to know what happens. Like,
It's nothing good.
right. You either have to assume something bad happens after you start playing your character, or for some reason you've become just that powerful that the consequences you don't have to worry about afterwards. And sometimes in the Elder Scrolls that is the case. Or at least, if you can't, you can run away from it and hide yourself well enough.
Dude, that would suck. Like, just constantly being, like, eternally being on the run from, like, Clavicus Vile, or like Hermaeus Mora, or anybody, right? Like, that would suck ass.
No, that would really suck, because a lot of these beings that we're talking about can assume like a different form entirely, and can just be, you know, like Barbas can turn into a dog. And he's like the Hound of Clavicus Vile. He could just watch you as a wolf in the woods, and you'd never know.
Right.
Right.
So, to address MCT's question of what do I think of Loki, God of Mischief, I like Loki. I think he's a cool guy.
No, I very much enjoy Loki. Holy shit! Like, he is basically the god of. I mean, he's the god of trickery. So it's hilarious, like what he does sometimes, because that's what he embodies. Like, it's tough for him to take anything seriously because he'll just freaking go with it.
If I might offer up like a quick anecdote about Loki's exploits.
Sure.
Loki is a shapeshifter, not just like an illusionist, like he's portrayed in like the Marvel superheroes and stuff, but like, how do I say this? Loki transformed into a woman, tricked Odin into having sex with him, and then gave birth to a horse, specifically Sleipnir, the eight-legged like war horse that Odin then rode into battle forever and always. What do you say to that? That's fucking awesome.
You got pranked. Holy shit.
So like
not only is this horse your son,
but you slept with me, your son, in order to conceive him.
Oh shit. I like fucking A. That's like when you take a prank too far. What is
Oh man, I can just see Loki like I don't know, after the fact being like, "You got punked."
Oh my gosh.
Oh. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's the ultimate prank.
Yeah, so I like Loki. I think Loki's cool.
Yeah, holy shit, that's pretty wild.
And you thought like Greek mythology was fucked up.
Yeah. Also, the horse has 8 legs, right?
It has 8 legs. Yes, that's accurate, Bakura.
It's more like a freaking horsepede. Or arachnohorse.
Yeah. Oh no, I was hoping you wouldn't say it. Now I have to see if it's real.
Like, how does, like, it comes to a point where you add that many more legs to like a creature like a horse, and then it becomes like, oh gosh, it's too many legs. Because you just try to imagine how it moves. That can't be good for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Freaking
Oh. Let me try like spider horse.
Oh gosh.
Oh god, it's real! Why is it real?
Don't post it.
Oh
Don't
no,
do it.
but I want to so bad.
Oh wait, the horse can cross dimensions too?
Yes, it can.
Sweet.
So
Frickin' A.
I have to. You don't have to click on it, but I have to.
Okay, let me see.
But anyways, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So to actually like get to the thing that I've been trying to like spit out for a while. Remember in that game we played Masks
Yeah.
where the kid's character was like had the motorcycle and it had a horse motif? It's Sleipnir. Like
Right.
that thing where it jumps across dimensions and like lets you guys go to hell and stuff. That's where
Gotcha.
that comes from.
I see. Yeah, he gave
And that's
birth
why
to a special super horse of death. Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. That's accurate. Yeah, Sleipnir. Yeah. That's the correct one.
Yep, friggin' A. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, so I guess I have to ask just in general because I asked specifically about Greek gods before.
Sure.
But who's your favorite fictional god ever?
Favorite fictional god ever? Sheogorath, definitely.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to add to that.
Yeah, MCT friggin' A. But no, my favorite god is definitely in any fiction is Sheogorath because holy crap. It like he's so fucking cool. Because he's got a very strange story where essentially Sheogorath is actually a cage for the god of order. And so all of his power, like, is basically contained within this insane god. And it's just hilarious because, again, it's one of those situations like, down the road after doing a quest for him, is your character still okay? Because I doubt it. You know, and it's only because you play during a small window in the course of your hero's time that like you don't see like the breakdown of like dealing with all these ancient beings, but like I feel like one that would affect you the most would definitely be Sheogorath.
Epic. Yeah.
But yeah, like he has so many cool artifacts. I mean, friggin' Wabbajack is my favorite of all time. Because like just
I have picked that up, yeah.
because like it's fantastic. Like just you shoot something, it could turn into a pile of gold, it could turn into a mud crab, it could turn into something terrible. Like you don't know. Wait, what? Oh, you know what? I haven't seen that show yet.
It's awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah. The character Seawain is talking about is Mr. Nancy. He's a fucking badass.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm not sure if this is actually spoilers, but I'm going to go ahead and preface it with spoilers.
Spoilers!
Spoilers! Mr. Nancy is the like old god, like human personification of Anansi, the like trickster spider god from African folklore.
Interesting.
But yeah, he's awesome.
Cool.
He's just a great character. So if and when you finally do decide to watch that show, man, it's epic.
Oh, you know who's a well? I mean, I guess he's kind of real, but he's been used in fiction a few times. But Papa Legba.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's super cool. Like,
yeah.
like he's like, basically like people always do dark deals with him and stuff like that. Like he is the guy you go to for dark power, and it is so funny because like basically the way to summon him is to offer him drugs. It is. I find it so hilarious.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, I want like ultimate power. Here's like something, and he like comes over, snorts or smokes whatever it is, and then like he's like, all right, let's make a deal. And it's always your soul, but like it's hilarious.
Definitely. No, I totally agree. I liked the way they did Papa Legba in American Horror Story.
Yeah, that's actually the one I'm referring to. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a really good one. Yeah. I liked it a lot. Um, yeah, like I don't know. The Coven series in American Horror Story was like I don't know. It was weird. I really liked it. It didn't like and like I actually liked it the whole way through, which isn't typical for me and American Horror Story. They usually like lose me around episode 8 and I'm just like, why is this still going?
Gotcha. No,
This
I
season should
enjoyed
be
that
over. Why
series.
did we have more episodes?
Yeah, I enjoyed that series as well.
It was good.
Yeah. But yeah, Gontro Dim as well. He's another good one from The Witcher. Holy shit, Hearts of Stone. He was a creep. Like, I had no idea what he was. Like, I think the thing that makes him so creepy is you don't know what he is for the longest time. Like, you know there's something off about him. Like, he was on a ship in the middle of the ocean to save you, and then you owe him something. And then, like, what is he, a dark genie or something like that? Like, and you have no idea. And, like, just the buildup of that makes him even more creepy. And the fact that he shows up and he starts acting, like, weirder and more blatantly powerful around you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yes. No, I don't know. I haven't gotten that far in The Witcher 3 yet, and I was like, I wasn't actually present for most of Heart of Stone, so I didn't. I saw a lot of you like running around in the countryside, but that doesn't actually tell me a whole lot.
Yeah, right. That could be anything.
Yeah.
And I Sergeant Dornan.
Call you like looking around and being like, how in the hell do I get this last place of power? It's supposed to be here. And then you had to like, you were like, fuck it, I can't deal with it right now. I'm just gonna go and like progress the story. And unfortunately, something made me have to like leave the computer, so I didn't actually get to see that part. Yeah,
Sergeant Dornan, that's what you say. Gontro Dim's the best like god ever. He's definitely a weird one.
For sure. I don't know. I
like that you see multiple evidences of him. Like, there's a little bit like of him in Blood and Wine as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this, but through the Witcher 3 series, apparently you can see him in the background in certain scenes just among... And you meet... Like, he's one of the first guys you meet in the game, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And, like, apparently, like, during certain scenes, he'll be in the background. And I didn't even know.
Well, now I'll have to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, honestly, like, when I met him officially in Hearts of Stone, people were like, do you remember him? No, because he looks so plain.
Yeah.
And that is the weird thing about him. Yeah, Bakura, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. The spoons.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. Oftentimes, like, unless it's in like a sort of medieval setting, you don't really hear too much about gods.
No. Well, I mean, we could transition to the fact that, you know, I have ancient gods and beings of fiction.
Right,
where, like, sometimes it's alien. And, like, that's where the things like Cthulhu and Star Children come into the factor. Right? Like, it's not medieval, it's more modern, but, like, it's an ancient thing that's awoken.
Yeah, that's true. What am I thinking of? Well, yeah, Sergeant Dornan. Like, you have the Children of Adam, but like they're a cult to maybe a god.
Actually, but, like, I think there's some strong Adam, right? There's some strong evidence in Fallout with like Krenva's tooth and the Dunwich building, and like, honestly, like, there are times in the Children of Adam where you think there is actually like some like weird nuclear lord or something like that, because there's some freaky shit that happens.
Krenva's tooth and the Dunwich thing, and there's also a few more in there. I think there's a reference to Pikmin. The guys who write Fallout really like Lovecraft.
Yeah.
It also helps that like like the place that they decided to like put their story is Lovecraft country. Like it's I think it was too perfect to not do that. Like that was just a thing.
No, totally.
But like in terms of actual things that happen in Fallout, like that actually like really puts front and center that there is like some like deity or power that like, or that, you know, like the children of Adam worship, or that like does whatever Kremval's tooth and all that other stuff. Like I don't think there's anything specifically that leads me to think that there's some kind of like deity behind all that, aside from like weird like nuclear pseudoscience bullshit.
All right, I'll give you 3 examples of times when I think you have some evidence there.
Sure.
The Dunwich building, when you return the ancient book from Point Lookout to destroy the ancient evil book. I forget what it's called, but
right.
You basically go there and you use the book and it explodes in a fire.
Okay.
Like, that's some pretty mystical shit right there.
I mean,
sure, it could be science, but at the same time, holy shit, it's a giant weird spire surrounded by worshipping, ghouls around it. Kremval's tooth, you see visions of the past as you walk through the mines of people going to, like, worship around this weird hole in the ground.
Yeah, I do remember that part. And, like, that part was definitely, like, a little bit strange, that's for sure.
Right. And in the Far Harbor DLC, when you drink from the nuclear spring and you have visions of the mother of the island,
right.
Like that is, like, I mean, you could say, that was a weird, vision quest sort of thing. And you can rationalize that a little bit. But holy shit, is that an experience?
Well, okay, so I'm not gonna like super harp on this like real bad.
No, I'm just giving you like examples of where I think it would apply.
For sure, right? Like definitely. Like, I was actually just about to, like, say something about spirit quests in general. Like, usually, spirit quests are considered to be, like, spiritual. Like, it's not, like, you got to do a whole bunch of stuff, like, poison yourself, starve yourself, like, go days without sleeping. Like, to like, prove that you're worthy, and also to induce hallucinogenic visions. So, there's that. Like, drinking poisoned water would be, like, perfectly in line with that, and that's why it, like, works. The fact that there's like some mythology that previously exists that then that like your vision like fits into with the children of Adam is the saving grace on that in terms of like whether or not there's like something really.
Yeah, true. Because if you think about it, the children of Adam's like a newer religion. Like it's only after the bombs that like the lore's really been written for that. So there's no like historical basis to go off of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. No, definitely.
But yeah, right. Vault 106 was another one of those. It was actually chemically induced that you'd see visions of the past, So, I mean, that could be a counter argument. But you know what? There's definitely some weird occurrences in the Fallout universe that don't add up. And I think it adds that little bit of mysticism that makes things like Kremval's tooth and Pickman's gallery and the Dunwich building like that much more creepy.
For sure.
Because normally you're just worried about surviving and having enough ammo, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit.
We did forget about one thing though. In Nuka World, there's the haunted house.
Oh fuck me! Holy shit! Yes.
We did forget about that one.
Holy shit! No, you're right about that. Fucking hey.
It's like, oh, it's just a fun house, but like there's stuff going on in there that's not the fun house parts.
No.
It's the house parts.
Yeah. Yeah, the ancient beings part is kind of rare in Fallout, but when it happens, it's extra creepy because like it's so far from like the science fiction that you're used to.
No, for sure. And I dig that. Like, I legitimately do like like having some mysticism in my like in science fiction sometimes. Like it takes things sort of away from the standard science fiction like tropes just a little bit. Dune's a great example. Like in Dune, they have the way or the path or some other mystical sounding name for it, where like you can like focus some kind of like supernatural, like otherworldly energy, and use it to like do combat and like influence people and like harness the energy that the spice like gives you. It's a cool thing. I like it. But it takes it away from being like a straight political like science fiction book and into being something that's more like about like a messiah coming to save a people, right? Like it's interesting. It's definitely different than things that had been written up to that point.
Yeah. And Sergeant Dorn, you bring up a pretty good point there. Like, from a supernatural aspect, thinking about all the ghosts of people that died when the bombs fell in the Fallout universe, like, holy shit.
Kind of surprised there aren't more of them given the situation.
Right.
But yeah.
Those are two funny things. I didn't see the TARDIS or the dinosaur footprints, but I'll still be on the lookout for those now, because that sounds awesome. Actually, I mean, hell, I met, like, basically the Olmec equivalent in Fallout 2.
The giant talking
The giant talking stone head, yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was definitely a weird one. Like, I wasn't expecting that.
No, all of a sudden, there's just this head, and, like, you say who you are, and you're like, I'm the chosen one. He's like, no, you're not. And then they just have, like, this conversation for, like, 12 hours where you're both going, and like they're both looking at each other, sizing each other up, because I am the chosen one, and he's like, no, you're not. And eventually he's like, fine, you are the chosen one. Here, take this piece of monument and go.
Take this shitty rock.
Oh man,
that's a funny one. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So how's about characters in fiction that like pose as gods?
Oh, interesting. You do have those occasionally. I mean, frickin' Wizard of Oz is a good example.
Right. For sure.
You know, people who are just normal and they have a little bit of ingenuity to trick a whole bunch of people who aren't, you know, as technologically advanced or, you know, closed-minded.
Or just like scientifically minded or advanced, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because that's how like Oz did it, right? So.
Right. But no, totally. There's some people who definitely do the whole like, you know, all of a sudden like, you know, you're just a normal dude and it's like, man, all these people, if you just did this and like light bulb goes off, oh my gosh, I can be their new god.
Right. Who is it? There's that happens in Futurama. There's this robot lady who gets stranded on a planet full of like Amazonians, and she like hides behind, she like does like straight the Wizard of Oz thing, like hides behind this big like mainframe looking thing and calls herself Femputor.
Nice.
She like rules over them. It's great. It's super awesome.
Yeah, there's some things like that in fiction, yeah, where they're like cult leaders that are like God or Messiah like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like that's real.
And yeah, Bakura, that house in Nuka World, holy shit.
Right.
Fucking A.
I was thinking of a Dungeons and Dragons setting, Dark Sun. There's these 7 like supreme ruler type people. They all hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they all like worked together to conquer and then split up the world so that they could like have their own shit. I'm pretty sure they're called the Dragon Kings or the Sorcerer Kings. But like they've like used magic so much that their bodies have been like twisted and contorted, and they're actually dragons now.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like they're the only ones who still have access to like crazy powerful magic. They're scary. They're scary as fuck. Oh yeah, Gozer's a good example.
Wait, who's Gozer?
Uh, well, maybe it's not who Bakura was referring to, but in Ghostbusters, Gozer is that like that lady who comes out of like the top of the skyscraper,
Oh
with
yeah.
her at the very end. Yeah, like that old god thing.
Cool.
That's nifty.
Yeah. There's the hubologists. Yeah, the hubologists in Fallout.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't think I know those guys.
I don't know too much about him either. I met him in Fallout 4 and I was like, we want to go to the moon or some shit. And I'm like, what?
Gotcha, Bakura.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just like I don't know why, but like the Scooby Doo thing like tricked me into thinking about Supernatural. Um,
yeah.
I like the trickster in that one. He's awesome.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah.
Before they did the thing where they were like, oh, what a twist! I really liked the trickster.
Mm-hmm. Cool stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. Any honorable mentions you want to throw out there, Ving?
Well, you know what I want to talk about now, since we're going to be going to Darkest Dungeon soon, is I want to talk about the big ol' ancient one, Cthulhu.
Right, sure. I mean, I love Cthulhu. I think Cthulhu is the best. All praise Cthulhu.
Oh man, but no, it's honestly like I haven't like read the actual books themselves, but like I've seen movies and shows where like they get like really close to the fiction, and it's so incredibly awesome. And yeah, I remember the clown episode.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I dig Lovecraftian horror in so much as like he's built up in like the works that he was able to produce while he was still alive, like this huge like wealth of like weird shit. And like Cthulhu, like I don't know, I only even vaguely call Cthulhu a god because like he's like this hugely powerful being. But like he doesn't care about humans or anything that we do. Like even worshiping Cthulhu doesn't give you any like benefits.
No.
Except for like this tertiary sort of like, because I'm insane things work for me kind of like ridiculousness that happens sometimes.
Right.
But yeah, like it's weird. Yes, Seawain. Old one as opposed to an elder thing or a god. But yeah, like.
Oh, really? Sue and I didn't know that about Lovecraft. All right.
Oh yeah, no, he was. Yeah, he's super racist.
All right. Didn't know that.
Yeah, he's also not particularly sensitive about like mental illness. But like the guy was writing during the 1920s. There's no such thing as sensitivity when it comes to mental illness.
Oh yeah,
like,
true. In the 1920s, that's very true.
Yeah. And like you can also say that like Lovecraft was like a huge super racist, but again, it's only in the context that we read it nowadays and go, man, that guy's a bigot. But like at the time, like Lovecraft's opinion of like ethnic diversity is not particularly uncommon.
Like, oh my gosh, Seawain, lol. No, okay, interesting. I didn't know that about him.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, yes, that's also true, Seawain, but like that's also kind of a subjective thing to say. He's more he like his writing incorporates more like racist terminology in so much as he's mostly writing about like like the privileged white folk of his time. Like, it could be that he was racist. It could also be that he's just writing about racist people, or like the two. Like, there's a whole bunch of like twisted up.
I got you. Like, he's taking the perspective of the time period.
And I mean, you don't have to do that, but like, Lovecraft was writing in the 20s.
I fucking live for this.
And thank you for the follow, Zayui515. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that.
Well, damn, that was Lovecraftian.
I tried to read that as best I could.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
no, for sure. It's definitely.
But besides the author himself.
Yeah. But putting aside any insensitivity and bigotry that Lovecraft may have just displayed in his writing or personal letters or any of that nonsense, like going back to like just his work about the huge supernatural powers that he's writing about, like, I don't know. I tend to think that Lovecraft's like pantheon, if we can call it that, is one of the most interesting because none of them are benevolent.
No, yeah, that's sort of the cool thing about it, is that they're like, we've talked about things that make deals. Like, these things we're talking about, they don't make deals. You're just lucky to have not like died from a side effect or something like that.
Right. Or to have gleaned or like gotten just a tiny bit of its power by virtue of exposing yourself to knowledge about it, right?
Right.
Yeah. It is true, Wayne, that it's kind of interesting that Cthulhu is like sort of the most well known. I think it's because it's like it's one of the most clear images that Lovecraft presents, like in his work, because like do I remember the name of the god? I think it was Father Dagon. Pretty sure it was Father Dagon.
Yeah, for the fish people?
Yeah, the fish people.
Yeah.
There's also there's a whole shitload of them, including like some like long forgotten Egyptian gods and stuff. Like Nyarlathotep was like a ruler of Egypt who was like lost to time because of some crazy nonsense, and he's not actually a human being at all. Like, it's fucking weird. Generally speaking, it's just fucking weird.
No, actually, I mean, now that you mention it, like, in some ways, it's like Egyptian folklore and stuff, like, has a lot of fodder because they have all these human-ish type beings that have, like, heads of a different animal. And, like, you gotta be like, well, something had to have happened there.
Right.
Like, either that wasn't human at all, or, like, what was going on?
Right. And I think a lot of that has to do with like, to get slightly off topic and go like real life, like to go like IRL lore for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with regard to Egyptian gods and stuff, it's super easy to like perform a ritual as one of them because you're just a guy wearing like a mask that's like made out of whatever it is, right?
Right.
And like with that in mind, it's easy to see like why they would have chosen gods in that way. And like the same can be true of like Greek and Roman gods too, right? Like, you just got to get somebody who's close to the right description and then dress them up in like fancy ass robes.
Right. They'd usually have some sort of like mask and like wear clothing that would like be similar.
Yep.
Which at the time was usually a toga for everything.
Right. Exactly.
Birthday, toga. Funeral, toga.
Toga.
Business,
Different
toga. Party, toga.
Toga. But yeah, like in Rome, when you wanted to like embody one of the gods, you like put on like a golden mask.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just one of those things. Masks are super, super important, like in real history from like a long ass time ago. I'm surprised we got rid of them.
I guess so.
Like dude, there's like so many times when I just feel like I need to not be me and I need to put on a mask and pretend to be somebody else. So
My
want those
business
days to
face,
come
and then
back.
you just put on your business face.
Right? I wear my business mask.
Oh, no fucking way. Cool, Sir Brave Scott. Let me see here.
What we got?
Oh, cool.
Fucking
It's
stuff.
like charts of the different like Egyptian gods, Greek gods, and Roman. Wait, which is this one? Oh, that's Norse. Cool.
Cool.
Oh man, that's really, I like that illustrated chart. That's amazing. Awesome.
That is super cool. I dig it.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Sir Brave Scott.
Oh no, not Jormungandr. Oh, the world snake. Oh no.
He looks so cute. That's awesome.
Oh no, the world snake. So bad. Dude, okay, so we talked about it once. Actually, we've talked about two things separately. I'm going to talk about them together real quick. God of War and Norse mythology coming out this year or next year. So stoked.
Yeah, that's pretty like holy shit.
That's fucking awesome.
Right.
Okay, got that out of me. I'm good now.
No, totally. I'm with you there. What is it gonna come out on?
I think everything.
Good.
At the very least, PS4, and I think probably Xbox.
Right.
Don't know if it's actually going to have the PC release, but probably will.
That'd be great because I think thus far it has not been released to PC yet.
No, hasn't been.
Okay. But cool, awesome.
No, legit. One final shout out because I never actually got to mention it. Jumping back basically all the way to the beginning of the stream when Ving told us what his favorite Greek god was. My favorite Greek god is I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation. Mnemosyne. It's Mnemosyne. Mnemosyne is the goddess of memory. And like Zeus had sex with her, and like they created the muses, and like a whole bunch of other shit goes on. That's really what she's like known for. But what I dig about Mnemosyne is that she's this understated figure that is ever present in every Greek's life for forever, and I very much appreciate the like metaphysical weight that she gets in history.
Right, because yeah, we've been talking about a lot of like ancient gods and beings, but like there are beings that like we don't usually talk about, but like they're called the Watchers.
Right.
And like in their own way, they're powerful enough to like view history in its entirety. But like they're not considered powerful because they take a step back and you really don't interact with them at all.
Right. I've used characters like that a couple times in like role-playing games that I run. And like it's usually this very sort of like pacifistic, like we don't actually do any of that stuff.
Right.
And like the player character's like, well, you could like help me and you could like fix so many things that are wrong. And they're like, what's wrong about it? It's the way history went.
Right. The Elder Scrolls has a similar thing with the Sijic Order. It's a very similar one.
Yeah.
They where they help you out. Well, it's the only time they really like show up, but like you get like visions of them when you're doing the College of Winterhold stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like I dig. Like the who are they? The Fates in like again Greek mythology. Dig it. Just straight up, just dig it. Like
No, yeah, totally. just like three ragged sisters. Well, sometimes they're portrayed as different, but like, yeah. Well, they stand around a like a loom, and like each string represents the life of somebody, and it's like, oh, it's time, and then they get these nasty big old shears. Snip,
Yeah.
they're done.
Love it. About Papa Nurgle. Ugh.
Wait, what's Papa Nurgle?
Oh boy. So a Nurgle, if I'm following Sewing correctly, is a character, or is a creature in it's either Warhammer or StarCraft, and I can't remember.
Corn. The blood
Right.
god. Oh man.
Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh yeah, chaos gods, yeah. Fucking cool shit.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always
Probably
cool.
thinking, but yes. So Nurgles,
You
not
know
Nargles.
you know you're screwed if he's one of the 4 gods of chaos.
yeah,
Like the fact that there's multiple is like, holy, what have we done wrong with our lives?
right. Okay, so since we're like just talking about the 4 of something and how fucked we are, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse,
That's true. Yeah. There you go.
right? I'm not sure if they technically count as gods, but they're definitely like those crazy like ancient beings that have been around since like forever, kind of thing.
Right, yeah. Death, pestilence, war, and conquest.
Pestilence used to be something else, and I can't remember what the fuck it was.
Oh, like an older translation?
Say what?
Like an older translation?
Yeah, like the original intention. It was war, death, conquest, and my brain is failing me. Let me see if I can find it real fast, because I like the horsemen a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it's sort of like they with the 7 deadly sins, avarice was one, and they changed it to pride or something like that for more recent tones or something.
Yeah, because it was a more common word for it.
Oh, famine.
Famine. That's
Famine.
the one.
There we go.
Yeah. Conquest eventually turned into pestilence.
Oh, interesting. So it was pestilence, famine, war, and death.
Yep. War,
Huh.
famine, death, and pestilence. Because conquest got written out of that mythology around the time England started conquering people.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, so that's real world politics that we don't want to talk about.
Nope. It's very interesting to see how those ancient beings have influenced IRL stuff, which is pretty cool.
True. It is true. I also generally like seeing different depictions of the 4 horsemen. I think, yeah, it's one of my favorite sort of things to like just look at concept art of, because I just like seeing how people think about the horsemen and like what they could be and all that shit.
Oh yeah, is this the? Let me see here. Oh, cool.
Good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Origin Good Omens. Cool.
But anyways.
But yeah, AI, I'm a big fan of that too. When like ancient gods or beings, like they're fed off of the belief of people.
Yeah, that's
Like I've seen a lot of things in fiction where like it's sort of there's sort of like a almost like I'd almost call it like a religious falling out or religious apocalypse where like you have these dudes that were once powerful but like now like they only have a handful of followers left and they're like desperate old gods.
Yeah.
That like need to like lash out to like prove that they exist.
Yeah, definitely. And C. Wayne's right. Like American Gods is a great example of that. Yeah, it's not. I won't get into the details, but it's awesome.
Right. I gotta find a way to watch that.
Yeah, for sure. Let me at some point give you my my Stars credentials, and you can just watch them on Stars on demand.
Yes.
Awesome. But yeah, like there's a lot of examples, none of which immediately spring to mind except for American Gods, where the
You recommend the books too? Cool.
Yeah, but like where the like somebody believing in the gods is like what gives them their power.
Mm-hmm.
There's like some examples where that's not the case. Like whether or not people believe in gods is like immaterial. Like the gods are still present and existent because they created the universe and all that shit.
Right. Like there are some cases it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Like they'll exist no matter like if they have no believers or if they have all believers. Like it doesn't matter. They're still there.
Exactly.
But I think when the whole there's no believers left, and then one person figures out something is really interesting. And
Right.
that actually, I think that actually goes back to the whole Cthulhian thing. Where, like, they're ancient gods, they're supposed to be all forgotten, and then one guy finds a book somewhere and they're like, oh man, no way. And they find out all this ancient knowledge, and then of course shit goes crazy after that.
Right. There's a couple different things that like come to mind when I'm thinking about that though. Like you've got like in American Gods where like the belief in some god is like the thing that sort of supports them, the thing that gives them their power. And like if nobody believes anymore, they're either powerless and possibly mortal, or like they become inert, like they just turn to stone or something. That doesn't happen, I don't believe, in American Gods. So it's just like what I'm thinking about.
Interesting.
But like, say in this instance, there has been a god that is like completely forgotten about and nobody remembers anything about it at all, except it's in a book somewhere. And nobody's read that book for like 1,000 years or some shit.
Right.
Then some stupid asshole goes looking in the book of forbidden knowledge and like, or the library of forbidden knowledge, and finds that book and opens it up and like looks through it and it's like, oh, what's this say about Snishnirbignyarg, the god of whatever the fuck he's the god of, and like starts learning about it. And then like as soon as he knows, and like begins to believe in this god, like takes it as like real world things, not just some stupid mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the knowledge that he at one point existed, the thing that causes this ancient, decrepit, no longer actually a god to like become potent again? Or does he have to then convert other people to like the following of him? Like, do they have to like follow a ritual and make a sacrifice or whatever?
Well, I've seen there's a few different things like that where like you awaken an ancient god because it has a lot of promises to its followers. And I've seen that in a few cases where it does require sacrifices and stuff like that. But then there are others that are like simply saying its name awakens it from slumber. Like just your knowledge awakens it and like someone's like spoken my name once more and like, you know, that crazy shit happens afterwards. Yeah.
I dig it. Like I like this notion that you can play around with like what happens to gods when nobody believes in them anymore, and like what happens when somebody finds out about them again.
Right.
There's actually a subplot in a book series I like a lot, the Dresden Files, that has a lot to do with like gods and like knowledge about them and like that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
No spoilers. It's all way too awesome. Go read the books. Yeah, like they don't really start to get into any of that until like way later. Like I think it's like books probably 8 or 9 before they really start to get into the whole gods thing just at all.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent one actually has an incredible wait, was it the most recent one? the book title is Skin Game. I can't remember if it's the most recent one or not. But it's awesome. There's several gods in that book, and meeting them is never exactly what you think it's going to be like, and it's just great.
Nice.
I love it when authors or artists or anybody like really goes in and takes like the nugget of like the god that they're interested in and then like twists it so that it's like completely their vision and like fresh and new and great. Like that's my favorite thing about like looking into more gods and stuff.
Actually, I want to touch on what AI said earlier about
Sure.
Santa.
Okay.
So, like, in the Elf movie, the belief in Santa Claus powered his sleigh.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, Santa's like an ancient being that feeds off of the belief of people to make sure that once a year he can deliver presents to everybody.
That is accurate. I want to say,
and he can smite you by giving you coal down your chimney. In ways he's all-knowing. He knows if you've been good or bad, so be good for goodness sake.
Right. Well, there's that whole Santa Claus Krampus thing, right? Like where they're like not the same thing, but they're kind of the same thing.
Right. It's like his evil brother, basically.
Right. Like the Santa takes care of the nice list. Krampus takes care of the naughty list, kind of deal, right? So.
Oh, interesting, Brave Scott. Yeah, I don't know that much about like Japanese gods and ancient lore like that. Cool. Right. You've got this omnipotent, gift-giving ancient being that feeds off your belief.
Yeah. I mean,
sleep well tonight.
Right. You know what? I'm cool with that. I'm perfectly fine with Santa. Again, relatively benevolent.
And you give him offerings of cookies and milk.
Yeah, that's right. I leave my offering every year. I don't even have a chimney. Like, no fireplace in this house. Still leave the offering.
Oh, man. No, totally. It fits in the category, man. Like it's crazy, but like when you think about it, he's an ancient being.
Yup.
Our new Lord and Master Santa Claus.
I have not read Hogfather Seawain, but Brave Scott, kudos. That was awesome.
Oh, holy shit.
I used that line similarly to a friend of mine at work, so.
Oh, shit. Friggin' A. Wow.
That's so good.
If you'd told me that Santa Claus would have entered the conversation at some point, I'd been like, you crazy. It happened, though. Cool, though. Cool.
Oh, look. A link. I click it. Oh, okay. Terry Pratchett. All right. Makes sense.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
Oh, that's awful. Oh, I gotcha. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, true that. Yeah, that's another one that's very interesting. Oh my. Friggin' A. But yeah, so I think we did a pretty good job talking about ancient gods and beings in fiction, and we included some.
I agree.
We include some interesting IRL stuff that I didn't think I'd touch on, but I'm glad we did, because it brought some very interesting things of how sometimes things are actually more weird in real life.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
The thing that I think a lot of people like forget about when they're like designing their fantasy like pantheon and stuff is that you got to think about like what people find important, how things change over time, like. There's a lot of things to consider when you're writing a pantheon, and giving more consideration to what has happened in real life and how weird that shit is, like, might give you some interesting ideas about what you could do with your pantheon.
Right. Friggin' A. Slipnir.
Yeah, Slipnir. Slipnir's fucking weird, man.
No, that's some weird shit.
Yeah, it definitely is. What are you gonna do?
Awesome. But yeah, so I'm gonna transition over to Darkest Dungeon. So thank you for joining us, chat. I'm just gonna switch over to the title screen, and thank you for joining me, Saberwolf.
No problem.
I just need to change the title screen and the game title and all that sort of stuff, and I'll be back in just a second with some Darkest Dungeon. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys in just a bit. All right, see you in a bit, everybody.